Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back. If you just finished your vocabulary video, now it is time for our ELA Day 1 lesson for the week of May 4th through 10th. So this is your Day 1 lesson, boys and girls. And this week we are going to be recounting stories, including fables, folk tales, myths, and from diverse cultures. So let's get started, shall we? All right. Our learning target. I will recount a folk tale from around the world by telling key events in the order in which they happen. That sequence, which we went over, the vocabulary word for. Okay. Today, we will discuss strategies that you will use to read and recount stories. All right. So when you're recounting a story, you're retelling it to someone. All right. We will read and recount the folk tale, A Bundle of Sticks, together using strategies we discussed. You will then read a folk tale from the Cherokee Nation called How the Bat, sorry, my head's in the way, how dare I, How the Bat Got Wings. You will use the strategies you learned to recount a folk tale by answering questions about key events in the order in which they happen in the folk tale. Okay, let's get started. What does it mean to recount or retell a story? Well, you recount stories all the time, I bet. Can you think of times you retell a story to someone? Think about that for a minute. I bet you do it almost every day. You may retell what happened in a movie or in your favorite show, or maybe even what happened at home. Okay, so when you tell someone about a movie, or when you tell someone about the book you've read, like Peter Pan, which we read together. Everyone's read Peter Pan now. So I hope you went home and told your parents or retold them about Peter Pan. All right, so important question here. How do I recount or retell a story? Well, when you retell a story, you must include the setting. All right, so that's the time and the place, right? The setting. Here's our house, the time and the place. When is it happening? Where is it happening? The most important characters, the people or the animals who act out the story. That doesn't mean that if there's a ton of characters, it's every character. You have to pick who are the most important characters, okay? And then the most important details in sequence. Remember, sequence means order. How do you find out what those most important details are? Well, a lot of times if you look over here, it includes the problem or the struggle the character is having, right? What's going on? Why are we even reading this? What's it about? And it's the happenings. What's going on in the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story, and we typically chunk it that way. You've heard that forever now. So a lot of times in the beginning, you'll find the problem, right? The middle is usually what leads up. It's almost like a roller coaster. And then the end typically has your solution. How does the story tie it up? What's the big thing? Do I want you to retell it using every single piece of information? No, that's not retelling. That's rereading. You have to pick the most important details, put them in sequence, and make sure it makes sense. Don't forget to be brief. This means don't tell every detail. Keep it short. Remember, if you don't recount your story in the proper sequence or order, it won't make sense. And then we're in trouble. All right, so genre, which is the type of writing that we are focusing on this week, which you'll be reading, are folk tales. So folk tales are stories that come from a specific country or culture. They usually reflect the customs or the beliefs of the people. Folk tales usually share these characteristics. The story has often been told or retold orally before being written down. That means that before it became a story on a piece of paper that I could read to you, there were people that would go around and just teach these stories, tell them. It was, they may sit around a fire or whatever, but that's how they did it. It was all by mouth. They weren't reading off of a piece of paper until they later started writing them down. The characters may be people or animals. The people may be ordinary, or they may have superhuman qualities, like Peter Pan. He can fly, right? Superhuman quality. The animals may have human traits, such as speech. My dog doesn't really talk, boys and girls, so kind of a hint that that's, in a story, one of the character traits that makes it a folktale. And they may teach a lesson or explain something about the natural world, which means, why is something happening in our world? Why does a bat have wings? So, all right, let's keep going. Okay, we are going to be reading A Bundle of Sticks today, all right? And that's our first practice with recounting stories or a folktale. All right, so here we're looking at our learning target again, to retell or recount stories from around the world by telling key events in the order in which they happened. All right, when you recount a story, you are telling the story in your own words. Be sure that you include the key details and events that happened in the beginning, the middle, and the end. All right, you tell the events in the sequence in order in which they happen. So we're going to read this story, or I'm going to read it. You're going to follow along, and you want to think while I'm reading what's happening at the beginning, what's happening at the middle, and what's happening at the end. Okay, I'm going to read it through one time, and then we're going to read the story blocked off, beginning, middle, and end, and we're going to choose the most important details together so that we can make that recounting of our story together, okay? Before you have to do that on your own. All right, so our first story here is A Bundle of Sticks is the title. Well, if I look at the title, because that's always the first thing I do, and I think about what is a bundle of sticks? And I see that there's a picture, and one picture is of one stick and it's broken in half, and then there is, it looks like 1, 2, 3 sticks here, and they're tied together. Oh, okay. So this is what a bundle means. That's a bundle of sticks. It means it's more than one stick tied together. Huh. I wonder why that's part of the story or called the story. Well, I bet I'll find out while I'm reading. I'm going to think about that as I read, boys and girls. And you probably should too. All right. Now, remember, think about what's happening in the beginning, the middle, and the end as I read to you. Long ago, a mother had 3 children who were always arguing. Your arguing sounds worse than the clucking of all the hens in the world, their mother told them. She wanted them to stop. One day, she got an idea. She gathered the children around her. Then she took a stick and broke it. See how easy it is to break one stick? She asked. Then she tied 3 sticks together. She asked each child to break the sticks. None of the children could break the bundle. Oh, there's that word again, bundle. Oh, they couldn't break it because they were 3 tied together. Okay, now I get it. The mother told the children, "We're just like the sticks. When we don't stay together, our family is weak. When we stay together, nothing can break us apart." The children understood. From that day forward, they didn't argue as much. Okay, let's go and look at our beginning, our middle, and end, and pick out our important details so that we can retell this story. All right. So here's the beginning. It's long ago, a mother had 3 children who were always arguing. Your arguing sounds worse than the clucking of all the hens in the world, their mother told them. She wanted them to stop. Well, what are my most important details? I know that I probably should be talking about the most important things like the setting and the characters. Is there a problem? What is that problem? Oh, look. Okay. So here we go. Long ago is part of the setting because that's when it happened a long time ago, when a mother is a main character and her 3 children, because they're the ones arguing together, and that's who this is about. Okay. And, well, what's happening? Oh, they're arguing all the time. It's getting on her nerves big time. Okay. And what does she want? Well, she wants them to stop. So, in the beginning, I'm going to say the most important details is, long ago, because it's my setting, a mother wanted her children to stop arguing. I think it's a really simple way to sum up what is going on in that beginning paragraph. Okay? Let's move on to the middle, which was our next paragraph. All right, and I've left up for you the beginning because you can't see that anymore. And we're just looking at the middle right up here. And let me read that one more time. One day she got an idea. She gathered the children around her. Then she took a stick and broke it. See how easy it is to break one stick? She asked. Then she tied 3 sticks together. She asked each child to break the sticks. None of the children could break the bundle. What are the most important details here? First one is it's really easy to break one stick. That's pretty important for them to understand. All right. And the next one would be none of the children could break the bundle. So they could break one stick, but when she put the sticks together in a bundle, they couldn't break them. All right, so that's her idea. That's what's happening here. So I wrote that the mother shows her children that one stick breaks easily, then shows them a bundle cannot be broken, because that pretty much, in order, tells me what happened here. All right, let's look at the next one. The mother told the children, we're just like the sticks. When we don't stay together, our family is weak. When we stay together, nothing can break us apart. The children understood. From that day forward, they didn't argue as much. Children always argue sometimes, but it sounds like they got a lot better. Well, what happened here? What was the solution? The problem was they were all arguing. Was there a solution? Did it turn out better? So she's telling them, we're just like those sticks, okay? We stay together and nothing can break us apart. So she's basically telling them, y'all better stop arguing. You need to be together because that makes what makes you strong. Okay? And so what happens? They didn't argue as much. So I'm going to move my head so I can show you what I wrote just to recount this last paragraph here. And so my recounting of the last paragraph was the mother tells her children the meaning of the sticks. Together we are stronger. The children do not argue as much. Okay, so if I wanted to retell the whole story, I have it right here now. Long ago, a mother wanted her children to stop arguing. The mother shows her children that one stick breaks easily. Then she shows them a bundle cannot be broken. The mother tells her children the meaning of the sticks. Together we are stronger. The children do not argue as much. There you go. Retelling or recounting of a bundle of sticks that we did together, and finding all of our main details by asking ourselves questions as we read through the story. All right. So, next steps. What's going to happen next? Well, I will read How the Bat Got Wings, a Cherokee Nation tale. You will complete the questions that are already in this document independently, okay? So once you're finished with this, you just keep scrolling down and you answer all the questions, and then you will submit your day 1 lesson. Everything is right here today for you, all right? So there is a question right after this. When you get out of this link, the next question asks you about something in this video. So if you didn't watch the video, it's going to be really hard to get the question right. So good for you for watching this video right now. I'm so proud of you. If you are unsure of these directions or you do not understand your assignment after this video, you can contact your ELA teacher, which is either moi, Mrs. Kehoe, Mrs. Barnes, or Mrs. Scholes. All right? And I'm sure you know which one to contact because you're smart that way. All right. You are going to be reading How the Bat Got Wings. It's a Cherokee Nation tale, so I wanted to give you a little bit of background. First off, what is the Cherokee Nation, right? Do you know? You may have heard of the Cherokee Indians before, but the Cherokee Nation is a group of Native Americans that has its own government, okay? And they live here in the United States. Today, there are over 300,000 Cherokee people in the Cherokee Nation. And down here, this is their flag. All right? So, here are some things that I want you to think about because you've got the title in front of you. You know it's a Cherokee Nation tale. What do you think the folktale will be about based on the title? Can you make predictions now? Think about that. I bet you can. How the Bat Got Wings. What do you think you're getting ready to, the folktale's going to be about? What do you think it might answer at the end? Okay? So you're making your predictions now, and you're going to remember as I read, you should be asking yourself that W and H questions and revising your predictions as you need, because those questions that you're asking yourself as I read or as you read are what helps you to recount the story. It's what helps you understand and figure out what are those important details. Okay? So, alrighty. So I'm going to be reading to you How the Bat Got Wings. As I'm reading, these are some of the questions you should be thinking about. Who is this folktale about? In other words, what are the characters? What is the setting? Where, when does the folktale take place? What's the problem? What are the important details in the beginning, the middle, and the end? What is the solution? How did it finally resolve itself? What happened at the end? And I know folktales were used to teach a lesson or explain about the natural world. What is that lesson, or what was it? What did it teach me? Okay, I'm going to move my head again so that we can read. So you follow along, because remember, you're going to be getting this in your questions next. Okay, so I'm going to read it one time for you, and then you'll be reading it, parts of it. I've blocked it into paragraphs for you in the Google document after this. So I'm going to read it once for you. Ready? A long time ago, the bat was a tiny mammal. It had no wings. One day, the mammal and birds decided to play a game. The birds played on one team. The mammals played on the other team. The bat wanted to play with the mammals, but the mammals laughed at her size. "You are too small," they said. So the bat asked to play with the birds. The birds said, "You don't have wings, but we can make you some out of a drum." The birds stretched the skin of a drum into wings. The birds put the wings on the bat and said, "Flap your wings." The bat jumped off a tree and flapped her wings, but she didn't fly in a straight line like the birds. Instead, she flew every which way in a crazy zigzag pattern. The birds let the bat play on their team. Just as she had done before, the bat flew in crazy zigzag patterns. The mammals on the other team could not catch the bat. The bat scored the winning points for the birds. When the game was over, the mammals said, "Who is that superstar on your team?" The birds said, "It is the bat. We gave her wings." The mammals did not know what to say. After all, they had refused to let the tiny bat play on their team. The mammals had learned their lesson. From that day on, they let any animal of any size play on their team. Okay. I hope you were thinking about those questions as I read so that you could get your brain thinking, okay? So that when it's time for you to do it on your own, you're ready to go. All right, so we're going to wrap this up, and then you're going to get busy on your day one lesson, which is right after this. So all you have to do is stop this video and you're already there. Just start answering the questions. All right. So the wrap-up today is, it's important to ask and answer questions as you read so that you are able to understand the text and recount your story in the proper sequence. If you were able to answer the questions we asked as we read the story, How the Bat Got Wings, you will be able to recount the story. Remember to always go back in the text and support your answers. So no matter what, I've put pieces of the text with every question. Go back, reread, and prove your answer. Okay? Now it is time for you to show your knowledge by completing the questions on this Google document for ELA Day 1, How the Bat Got Wings. Don't forget your name and your teacher's name. And make sure to press the submit button at the bottom when you have completed all the questions. All right? Okay, I'll see you for Day 2. Have a good one. Do great on your questions.